Another question that has come up repeatedly is some difficulty people are having with some of these packet tracers as far as connectivity goes. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. This is packet tracer 1.5.3.5. This was the first one, so we're going kind of retro here, but I think it'll serve us well as far as instructional information. Okay, so it says right off the bat, click on Metropolis Bank HQ and then go to the FTP/web server. Okay, so FTP web server is this thing right here. Okay, and our instructions, should we choose to follow them, were to, turn on the FTP service and then put in accounts Bob, Mary, and Mike with full permission. Okay, so let's do that. What I'm going to do is go up here to Services, click on Services, and HTTP is not on. And I know I'm going to need that later, so let's just go ahead and turn that on. Now cruise down through here and find FTP. There it is. Okay, FTP service is currently not running. We're going to turn it on. We're going to put in user Bob with password Cisco123. We want Bob to be able to do everything to these files, so he's going to have full permission. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to add Mary. Same password. This isn't very good cybersecurity, is it? If everybody has the same password, then we have no idea who's doing what on our system. And what was that last guy's name? Mike. Look, I never professed to be the world's fastest typist. Although, if I'm typing narrative prose, then I can be pretty quick. You know, I used to type like 70 words a minute back in the day when I was doing a lot of technical writing. Okay, so there we go. We've got these user IDs added like the instructions said, and our FTP service is running, so let's just X out of that. Okay, and we kind of cheated. We went ahead and worked ahead, and we've already activated the HTTP and HTTPS services. Okay, now the next thing we're supposed to do is click on the PC named Sally, go to the Desktop tab, open the web browser, and then try to open www.cisco.corp. Okay, so let's go, Sally. Desktop, web browser, the world's fastest web browser. And click on Go. And we're pretty much anticipating that this isn't going to work, right? Because the instructions kind of gave away the game. They said, why would a user be able to browse to an IP address but not a fully qualified domain name? Well, it's because we don't have a DNS server running yet. That's going to be part 3. Once we get a DNS established, then we'll be able to use, Cisco.corp. Okay, let's try going to 10.44.1.254. Oh, by the by, hang on, let me go ahead and do this. All right, ta-da, it worked. Now, if it does not work, if you're trying to get to a website on Packet Tracer and it doesn't work, sometimes it depends on the Packet Tracer, but sometimes it'll want you to do HTTPS. It just depends on the nature of the website. If it's a secure website, then you'll have to put in the HTTPS manually. It won't fill it in for you. It does default HTTP. So if you're ever trying to get to a website on Packet Tracer and it doesn't work, try doing that and see if it works much better. Now, another thing that happens from time to time, you'll try to go to a website or try to FTP or whatever and it doesn't work. In that case, do this. Okay, cancel out of the command prompt or the web browser or whatever. Go over here to your IP configuration and just make sure that you really do have an IPv4 address, because sometimes whenever you open up the PC or the laptop, whatever it is, and you come over here to IP config, this is what you'll see. It'll have a static address, but there's nothing in the address field, so obviously none of your commands are going to work. So in order to rectify this situation, just do this. Click on DHCP and make sure that you get this banner right here that says DHCP request successful. If that doesn't work, then it'll give you a default IPv4 address, but it'll be the wrong one. Okay, so we'll close out of that, close out of that. And now, last thing I'm going to do here is just show you the DNS server. Where the heck is it? There it is. Okay, again, going over to services, DNS. Okay, we want to turn the DNS on. These are all going to be A records, so you can just leave that as is. And let's see, www. And the address for that guy was 10.44. Was it 1.254? I can't remember. Hang on a sec. Let's go look at our instructions. We got to do what the instructions say, you know. Okay, so the email is 10.44.1.253. The web server is 1.254. Okay, 10.44.1.254. Okay, that is good. Muy bueno. And then the other one is going to be email.cisco.corp, and that's going to have an address of 10.44.1.253. Adjacent addresses. Okay, now we got those dudes in. So let's X out of here. Go back over to Sally's place. Go back to the web browser. And now let's do this URL of www.cisco.corp. Go. Ta-da! Okay, cool. See, now we can use because we've got a DNS server to translate www.cisco.corp into a valid IP address. Before we didn't have that. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that in case you're having any connection issues with any of these packet tracers, like I said, just make sure that you've got HTTP or HTTPS as appropriate, because sometimes that will mess you up. And then the other thing is, and on some of these on some of these labs, it'll say, before you do anything else, type in ipconfig. Okay, if you type in ipconfig and these addresses up here are just zeros, well, then you immediately smell a rat, right? There's, see how this Bluetooth connection has got nothing but zeros? Well, that's not going to work. Okay, so you got to look at your Ethernet connection and make sure it's got a legit address, and if it doesn't, then you can either go back over to the ipconfig thing, or you can do this. ipconfig/release. I'm going to do release first. Okay, see, that sets all my addresses back to 0. Now I'm going to say ipconfig/renew, and this will send out a DHCP request, and the DHCP server will come back and say, here's your address. Provided the DHCP server is not dead. You know, if we can get to it, then this will work. In some of our labs, like next semester, in some of our labs, we won't have a DHCP server unless we set it up manually. So anyways, just wanted to give you guys that little bit of information, and yeah, and email me if you have problems that I have not covered, or if you've tried these solutions and it still doesn't work. Let me know. But most of these packet tracers, I've been doing these things along with you guys, and they're usually pretty easy to troubleshoot. And make sure you follow the directions to the letter, especially in, I think there's a lab coming up where you have to cut and paste some router commands, and that cut and paste has to be perfect. If there's any typos in there, then your virtual private network will not work. The network won't work. So anyway, yeah. And if I don't talk to you again, have a very happy Thanksgiving. And I will be back in touch with you when we get back from break. I'm going to be cutting out later today. I think I've got a meeting tomorrow morning, but then after that I'm going to be pretty much gone for the holiday. I will be in this coming Monday because I've got a class on Monday, but then after that I've got to go out of town. All right, y'all, take care. Bye.